Srila Harikesa Swami Vishnupad in Los Angeles.
Just as the sun god expands his shining rays up to the Arctic region without impedance, the influence of King Prithu will cover all tracts of land up to the Arctic region and will remain undisturbed as long as he lives. Purport. Although the Arctic region is not visible to ordinary persons, the sun shines there without impediment. Just as no one can check the sunshine from spreading all over the universe, no one could check the influence and reign of King Prithu, which would remain undisturbed as long as he lived. The conclusion is that the sunshine and the sun god cannot be separated, nor could King Prithu and his ruling strength be separated. His rule over everyone would continue without disturbance, thus the king could not be separated from his ruling power. Asya pratihitam chakram pritur amana sachalat Vachite Bhagavan Arko Yava Tapati Goganai. So, in this verse is explaining about the extent of the kingdom of King Prithu. First, the suttas, in praising King Prithu, were speaking about his very wonderful qualities. Initially, King Prithu did not wish to engage the suttas in reciting his glories because he felt that whether or not these glories were true, since they had not been manifested, it was not proper for them to praise somebody who has not manifested such qualities. This kind of praise is cheating and it is artificial. Therefore, one should wait until such qualities manifest, then one should offer the praise. So King Prithu was taking the humble position. He did not want to engage the suttas, the reciters, in this way. But the suttas had been engaged by the great sages who didn't require to see external manifestations of the qualities of King Prithu. They saw his quality by their spiritual vision. And when they saw this quality by their spiritual vision, they understood that this man is Sakshat Narayana. He is a direct manifestation of Narayan. He is a Shakchavasha avatar. He is manifesting the powerful potency of the Lord, and that is manifesting through the position of king, the most important position, practically as Rajarshi, one who has such a powerful position, but it is practically due to his being a very wonderful Vaishnava and great sage. So the spiritual authorities, the spiritual personalities, the great sages, they understood fully well the position of Maharaj Prithu. It is not that he could put up some show of humility and they would accept it without any further understanding. No, they understood perfectly well who he was. Even though he tried to cover himself, still they understood. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to cover himself in so many ways from anyone's understanding that he was Krishna and Radha, Radha Krishna. But still, the intimate devotees, those who were advanced Vaishnavas, they could immediately see the position of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they said, "My dear Lord, why are you trying to hide from us? You cannot. It's like trying to hide the sun. You cannot hide the sun." So, in a similar way, in a similar pattern, Maharaj Prithu was not possible to hide himself from the view of the great sages in his kingdom. And factually, what to speak of the great sages, everybody saw. It was obvious that this king was the most special amongst all kings. His appearance was extremely special also. How he appeared from the body of King Vena. How he manifested with all wonderful signs on his body. How his speech was so nectarine that immediately everybody understood what was right, what was proper. and the rogues and the rascals were shaking in fear. This is one of the qualities of leader. A leader is very, very powerful and strong. He's so powerful and strong that those who are miscreants, those who are rogues, they know now the number is up. I've been going on for some time with foolish authority or weak-minded personality in charge of the government. But now I can see there's a qualified man in charge, and he's not going to tolerate me. Therefore, I'd better go away or straighten up fast. So Maharaj Prithu was representing that powerful potency of the Lord, Vinashaya Chaduskritam, to destroy and annihilate that which is evil or wrong or contaminated by the modes of passion and ignorance. Factually, the position of leader is to destroy the influence of passion and ignorance within the society. He is to destroy the complacency of the miscreant class of men. Nowadays, practically everybody is a miscreant. And everybody is all these miscreants are quite complacent. In fact, they are in charge. Therefore, they feel very safe in their position, very secure. Because they know that no one will stop us. No one can stop us because we are in charge. So nobody can stop the leader of society nowadays. No one has the power. Therefore, they're feeling very safe. Maharaj Vena, he was also feeling very safe in his position. He said, who will stop me? Who has the power? I am the king. The king is the embodiment of all the demigods. In fact, he's superior to all the demigods. In fact, he's the supreme. He was speaking that the demigods are simply part of the body of the king. And the king is full with mystic power, so therefore the demigods, what they can do against him. And therefore, because he didn't understand his real position, he tried to take artificially a position of power and of distinction within the kingdom. Then, what happened? He committed offenses by doing that against these sages and saintly personalities. And what did they do? They killed him with high-sounding words. So, although he accepted very big position, and although he manifested externally symptoms that displayed his mystic powers and opulences, still, because he tangled with the wrong men, he was destroyed. He didn't understand the position of the great sages, the spiritual authorities, who immediately understood this Vena's a rascal, number one. We have to stop him. So they said, well, if we come right out and try to stop him directly, he will cause a lot of trouble to us. And when he causes a lot of trouble to us, he will cause trouble to the whole kingdom. So better we try to do it peacefully, because after all, our business is not destroying kings, and our business is not to try to run the kingdom ourselves. Therefore, let us try to rectify him, because after all, he is in the line of succession from the former kings. He is a very great person by genealogical line. Therefore, let us give him the chance to manifest the good qualities of this seminal succession, which is supposed to maintain the purity of the position of the kings in the dynasty. So let us go to him and give him good advice. So they went to him and gave him good advice. But he simply became more furious. There was a verse I used to know, but I forgot, that if you give a rascal good instruction, a rascal good instruction, he'll become more angry. Just like if you give a snake milk and bananas, he becomes more envious. So you can't give foolish people who are attached to the material nature good instruction. Because when you do, they'll simply become angry at you. And they'll simply cause more trouble than you can imagine. Therefore, this Vena, when he was given good instruction, he started to cause all kinds of havoc. Now the saintly personalities, they realized there's no way to stop this man except getting rid of this man. So, high-sounding words means there are Vedic mantras, there are also the curses of Brahmanas, and there is also the desire of Krishna, that when Krishna's representatives are thinking that this is ridiculous nonsense, Krishna is also thinking this is ridiculous nonsense. When the representatives are thinking, this must be stopped immediately, otherwise it will cause havoc in the kingdom, and Krishna is also thinking that way. That is why the representatives of Krishna have great power. It's not that they are very powerful personalities. This power, the powerful manifestation, this is generally coming from siddhi, mystic siddhi. When one wants to be powerful, he performs the various processes of mystic yoga, and then by the performance of this process, he gains power. He gains very great powerful, and therefore men call him very powerful man. Or when one gets a lot of money or a lot of strength, they call him powerful man because of his own personal quality. But devotees, especially those who are acharya or great sages like we are dealing with in this story, they don't require such power. Because they are just the representatives of Krishna. So when Krishna wants something, it is manifested through them. Therefore the power of Krishna is there. Therefore it is the most powerful. Even though Vena had the mystic perfections, although he was the king, had the whole kingdom, had all strength, bodily strength as well, the sages could finish him off because it was the desire of Krishna, and they did it by high-sounding words. Now the materialists may think, how simply by words they could destroy a king? Well, simply by the desire of Krishna, by his glancing, or by, as the Christians say, let there be light, there was light. When God wants to say something, that's immediately manifested as fact. And how it is manifested, that takes different forms. But here that will, that desire was manifested through these sages. That's generally how the will of the Lord is manifested on this planet, through his pure devotee representatives. And therefore, the pure devotee representatives of Krishna at that time decided they had to kill this man. He was nonsense number one and non-rectifiable because he didn't accept their authority. So they did it. And then they were a little bit lamenting, now here we've killed him, we don't want to get involved in the policies of the kingdom. But at that time, because of the man's foolishness, the whole kingdom was filled with rogues and rascals running around here and there and causing all kinds of havoc to the people in general. So therefore the sages decided, we cannot remain neutral, we have to do something more. But we don't want to manage the kingdom ourselves. Better we, because that's not their position, better we try to rectify, we try to churn this body of Maharaj Vena and get something good out of it. Out of all this bad, let's try to get something good. So out of the churning, they got rid of the sinful reaction of Nishadha, and then came Archi and Prithu, and we find the most wonderful king. Now this time, when Maharaj Prithu appeared before the sages immediately said, now here is the man we want to rule, here is the representative of Krishna. Manifesting the energies of Krishna, we fully approve everything he will do, we fully approve everything he is doing. We think he is wonderful. Maharaj Prithu, go out and rule the world with all confidence. And just to let everybody know in the beginning what his position was, because the sages knew perfectly well the quality of this person, the suttas began to glorify and praise him with all kinds of selected words. They explained how Maharaj Prithu had qualities which were manifesting only in the most perfect example of a king. It is not very easy to be a king. It's not very easy to have a big position in this world. This world is a very dangerous place. We have heard again and again about the dangers of this material world. But actually, do we realize the dangers of this world? This world is so dangerous that sometimes you've heard of a wolf coming in sheep's clothing. Well, this is what happens. This is the way Maya works. Maya comes in sheep's clothing. She looks very innocent. The best example I ever heard was given by Srila Charyadev about 8-9 years ago. He said, Maya is just like you have a peanut brittle house. He probably told you this, no? You know? You have a peanut brittle house. So, in this peanut brittle house of this story, the Hansel and Gretel, so it looks very nice. It looks just like you want to eat it. So Hansel and Gretel, they went to the peanut brittle house and they wanted to enjoy it. Very nice. But inside was a witch. So Maya is like that. She comes in the beautiful form of the peanut brittle tasty woman. And when you go to taste, the witch comes out and devours you. This is Srila Chayade's example. I don't take any credit for it. So, we can understand that Maya is very clever. Maya is no fool. Maya is Krishna's energies. And Maya can bewilder anybody. Anybody. Maya has also bewildered Lord Brahma when he was chasing after his daughter in the form of a mare. And Maya bewildered Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva came to Lord Vishnu and said, "My dear Lord, I want to see this Mohini Murti." And Narayan said, "Are you sure you want to see the Mohini Murti?" Lord Shiva said, "Oh yes, I very much want to see this form of yours." Narayan just smiled. He knew Lord Shiva thinks he won't be infected. But my Maya is so strong it can affect anyone. Just see. And therefore this example is in the Shastra. Lord Shiva, he is Lord Brahma. He is the first Acharya in our Parampara. Lord Shiva is the Acharya in his Parampara. Vaishnava, Tatashambhu, Vaishnavanam, Tatashambhu. He's the greatest Vaishnav, we say. So, Lord Shiva started running after Mohini Murti completely mad with lust. Because Maya came looking very innocent, but actually grabbed him at the heart and ripped it out. So Maya is very innocent in the beginning. She's just waving, just saying, "Come on, just a little bit here, a little bit there, it won't hurt." But it hurts very bad. Maya hurts very bad. When we surrender to Maya, we become full of fear, full of anxiety, full of troubles in so many ways. And it's always so innocent in the beginning. Very innocent. Just like we have a new phenomenon in our movement. It used to be called blooping, but now it is called fading away. We used to, in the beginning, just bloop. When we came to Krishna consciousness movement, if we didn't like it, we said, "this stinks," and we walk out the door. And then we find the first girl we can find and do our thing. But nowadays, we go out in style. Grand style. We make unbelievable arrangements to show how what we are doing is perfect. We are perfectly blooping. And we are very, very careful to not blaspheme anyone and always maintain the humble position and not to cause any trouble to anybody, but just to go off one step, 2 steps, 3 steps, and pretty soon everybody say, "Hey, where'd he go?" So, this is the way Maya is very clever, because when we're a little bit stronger in Krishna consciousness, Maya just hides behind the shield and goes. And then we just kind of go, "No, she's not there. She's not there. I know it." And then pretty soon Maya peeks out behind some tree and goes. And in this way, the mind becomes chipped away. Chip, 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 chip. And our big, strong, "No, we won't have it," becomes chipped away. And pretty soon we're just, where's she going to come next? Where's Maya going to manifest next? And we start looking for her. And then Maya, when we start looking, drags us from this tree to that tree, to this tree, to that tree, to this tree, into the deepest forest. And by the time we're there, everybody's yelling, "Where did you go? Where did you go?" We can't even hear. It's a cry in the forest. There's just like a wailing in the forest that we can't hear anymore. No one can hear anymore. There's a cry from the heart. Help, but it's too late. It is already too late. Maya has taken us away. So we have to be very, very careful. Now, King Prithu, he was fighting Maya on many levels. As a strong leader, he would not let rascals come into his kingdom and destroy the kingdom. He would not let thieves come, rogues come. But there are many more rascals. There are the rascals presently who are polluting the modern society again and again by pornography, illicit sex. And then you just, if it feels good, do it, continue it, enjoy it. Doesn't matter man, woman, animal, as long as you enjoy. And then if there's a child, kill it, abortion, this is also okay. Contraceptive, whatever you like. And if you feel a little bad, don't worry, take intoxication. And you can forget about it, you can get drunk, you can take heroin, you can take LSD, you can take cocaine, you can take whatever you like, marijuana. Or just any way, all day long you can smoke cigarettes and drink coffee and tea, and this way it keeps you going. And then if it gets too bad, you can always kill yourself. Now we have a nice book, How to Commit Suicide. They give methods, I don't know, this was from England, I don't know if it's here in America now. So, many wonderful things are being initiated in England. How you can kill yourself. It is very nice. You just take some barbiturates and get all groggy, and then you put a plastic bag over your head, and then you just die very peacefully. Or else you can go in a garage and turn on the motor and fill it full of exhaust fumes and die with a smile on your face. So in this way, you just imagine how the society is being polluted by the most crass, gross dogs in the guise of human beings. It is fantastic. These people, they're not even dogs. Dogs don't make propaganda. These people are so low, it is impossible to describe them. And they pollute again and again the society. They do it by creating so much consumer wonderful fantasy lands. Buy, more and more and more, and consume more and more and more. That means you have to work, of course, very hard to do it. So you work very hard and you produce, and then you consume it, and then you go back and produce, and then you consume it, and your whole life is spent running around in circles, bashing your head against the wall. Why can't I enjoy? I'm being told day in and day out I can enjoy. Why I can't enjoy? I am meant to enjoy. I'm working so hard. Day and night I'm working. Why I'm not enjoying? I'm not going to get any enjoyment. What's wrong with me? Oh no, it must be me. I must be crazy. Let me kill myself. So, just see what the modern materialists are creating within us. They're creating the desire that we should enjoy. That work, we should not just keep working, but we should enjoy. In this way it inspires us to work more and more. So King Prithu, he would smash this fruitive understanding, would not allow such fruitive understanding to come into the society, and would not allow the Vaishya class of men to pollute the society by producing or creating an atmosphere of sense enjoyment, by producing anything which is against the principles of progressive social development. The Vaishyas, in our Vedic economic system, it is a combination between capitalism and socialism. We call it Krishna communism. Communism doesn't exist as a system. Never has, it never will. Socialism exists as a system. Capitalism exists. Capitalism means I'm in charge, I do whatever I want, end justifies the means, money talks, nobody walks. Socialism means government owns and controls and directs the society through the nationalistic policies. And Krishna communism means you've got the freedom to create, to produce, and to market your good, but what you produce and do cannot be against the principles of the progressive society. It cannot be something which causes a disturbance within the society. You will not be allowed to produce pornography. You will not be allowed to produce so-called this liberalist journalism, like these humanists, our greatest enemies. These are the demons incarnate. The humanists, where they say the human being is ultimately the perfection of independence, and that his whole creation is the perfection of chance. And therefore he should manipulate and maneuver the material ingredients to whatever degree is necessary to fulfill his purposes as the enjoying machine. Basically, this is it in a nutshell. So this kind of philosophy is not allowed under the guise of liberality. Neither is it in the kingdom any kind of philosophy allowed in a guise of liberalism. That the kingdom is very liberal, therefore people can say what they like. Freedom of speech is the greatest joke in the history of mankind. Freedom of the press is another great joke. Because they are not free. You're not free in this country to say or think what you like. You are being directed and pushed to say and think what you like by the media, by the production machine, by the government. Nobody knows what's really going on in Iran. Nobody knew what really went on when this man did what is this place? Jonestown. Nobody has the faintest idea. Nobody knows who really killed President Kennedy. Nobody knows how these things all happened. Because we've all been brainwashed into thinking it happened this way. And that the reason is this. There are so many different times in society when people tried to manifest some proper understanding and they were shot, killed, or destroyed. Increasing drugs, increasing alcohol, increasing nonsense, rascal philosophy, increasing materialistic socialism, pushing the causes of materialistic communism. That in this way, we will be able to destroy the very foundations of the United States of America and all other countries of the world. Well, they've already done it practically almost everywhere else. Their plan is going, and here they're doing it as well, very nicely. And America has surrendered. It's already lost the battle. Now, the king is meant to smash this nonsense. There's no such thing as freedom of speech. You cannot say whatever you want. You cannot stand up and say there is no God. You cannot stand up and say it's all one. You cannot stand up and say sex is good. You cannot stand up and say, let me do whatever I feel like. Let me run around in the street naked, grabbing other men. And these homeless, all this nonsense. Let me do whatever I feel like. And you can't stop me. I've got my freedoms, my rights. This nonsense is not allowed. Because this destroys everybody. Can you imagine we're having our nice assembly here? Two people come in and start having sex on the floor? What that would do to the consciousness? Therefore the king is so strong that any fool and rascal who tries to do such a thing, he's banished to a certain part of the world where such rascaldom can go on. Just like the natural boundary was there formerly, Africa was the place of banishment. All that kind of person, they went there. Nowadays, don't get me wrong, there are very intelligent, brilliant people and very wonderful devotees in Africa. That was formerly, that was the place. Nowadays, we could find another place. I suggest Siberia. But such people, they should not be allowed to speak, to talk, to publish, to do anything which offers an example to others. Because the action speaks louder than words. If somebody does something, the fools and rascals are immediately affected, and they follow that rascal activity. Therefore, such rascaldom cannot be allowed in public, cannot be allowed to manifest within a progressive society. It must be stopped. Otherwise, it will ruin the society. These modes of passion and ignorance are so contaminating. That is why pure devotees avoid the mode of passion and ignorance like the plague. It is not that the pure devotee thinks, I am so invulnerable from the modes of passion and ignorance that I can walk into the pits of passion and ignorance and not be affected. No. Lord Chaitanya said, I avoid these things like anything. If I even see the wooden doll of a woman, I avoid it, because my mind will be agitated. Lord Chaitanya avoided even seeing a king. He didn't want to become contaminated. His woman disciples would only offer him obeisances from afar. If he heard the name of a woman, when his best friend came from childhood and said, "Here's my wife also, she has come," he was disturbed. Because he realized, he knew, why get a little bit entangled in the Maya? Maya pollutes. So the king has to understand how to arrange the society in such a way that the people will not be polluted, that the progressive principles of the society are not destroyed, so that the growth of the society is not hindered. Just like a child, it was often said, if he smokes cigarettes at the age of 5 or 6, his growth will be stunted. The alveoli in the lungs will become blown up. He'll get this emphysema, or whatever you call it. I forgot the name. All the sacs, they crack. He can't breathe properly. Now, in a liberal society, it's becoming to the stage where 6-year-olds will be smoking cigarettes because of liberality. 10-year-olds are already taking LSD and having sex in the school bathrooms. Now, this is the liberal society. In Sweden, you can't believe with the extent of liberalism. It's 1984 in that country already. If the parent chastises the child or tells the child he cannot do something or hits the child can go to the police and have the parent arrested for child brutality. There's 15,000 laws were passed last year in Sweden just to prove that there's no right for the individual, and that you're going to go to hell and we're going to make sure of it. So, in progressive society, you are not allowed to do what you want. You must follow proper human principles. You must set a proper example for others. And if you cannot, you will be banished. If you cannot accept that, you will be killed. You cannot go on with this nonsense in society. And we say it boldly. Actually, sometimes I used to think that if I spoke like this in public, that people would get very upset and then they wouldn't accept this. But I beg to differ. I've given lectures in front of tons of teachers, in front of all kinds of people. And when they hear this, they say, finally, somebody said what I feel in the pit of my heart. There is a great desire in the people. Srila Prabhupada said they're rascals, they're fools, they're demons. Of course, we don't have to say this to their faces. But we should make a stand. Krishna consciousness means proper social sanity. And everything else is insanity. Therefore, the proper leadership should kick out all insanity. Insanity of action, insanity of thought, insanity of deed. This means that the society has to be arranged in such a way that the lower modes of ignorance and passion are gradually destroyed. This doesn't mean when we take over tomorrow, we're going to close every slaughterhouse. We're going to close every liquor shop. We're going to stop people from doing everything. We're going to have a TV set in their house so we see if they're having illicit sex or not. No. We're not going to be doing like this. But rather we're going to be preaching to them. Preaching to the educators of society. Defeating their arguments in public forum and debate. Showing and establishing the superiority of spiritual knowledge and wisdom. And showing how this nonsense humanism, this nonsense liberality has destroyed the world. And how you've got a very short time left before you're a pile of rubble. And if you want to do something, you better do it now. And any intelligent man immediately accepts this and gets very fired up. Unless, of course, somebody does something so far out to destroy all the faith in what we're saying. Unless they think we're just talking all nonsense and doing all other kinds of nonsense. Now, our speech and our action has to be right on. What we say has to be perfect, and what we do has to be perfect. We have to be acharya. That means action, right on, speech, right on. And everyone follow that example. Not that the speech is one very nice thing, and the action is some complete insanity. No. Speech right on, action right on. Then the whole world will follow us. The whole world wants such a leader. Just see how the people accepted King Prithu. Just see how they accepted him. They worshipped him on the spot. They fall down at his feet. They said, lead us, save us, tell us what to do. This is the real king, the real authority, one who can lead the world in proper social existence. That is what this Krishna consciousness movement is meant to do. So we have our leader, Srila Prabhupada, and he was speaking the absolute truth and showing the absolute truth. And now we have to take with Srila Prabhupada the leading roles to speak the absolute truth and show the absolute truth, so that Srila Prabhupada's glory can be actually manifested throughout the world. Whatever we are is simply a speck of reflection of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was the ocean of all perfection. And if anybody wants to know how we have understood anything, we point to Srila Prabhupada. And by this, Srila Prabhupada being the example and the perfection and the representative of Krishna, everybody can understand that what we are doing is representing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are not concocting some philosophy like so-called religionists nowadays who are mixing up their politics and their religion and their own personal grudges and their enviousness and their desire to become very distinct and famous. Just like the disease of this very nice Ayatollah in Iran, although he may be good or bad, I don't really care. But we see a mixture of vindictiveness, of politics, of enviousness, of so-called religious principles, of all kinds of nonsense. Everything is so mixed up that the whole country doesn't know up from down. And we can understand that we cannot mix pure bhakti with anything, because as soon as you mix, it becomes a mess. If you take pure white and you mix black into it, you get gray. Gray you can get anywhere. If you take this purity and mix it with, if you take sweet rice and mix it with sand, you can't say that this is another good combination. It's hellish. You can't eat sweet rice with sand. The sweet rice may be wonderful. It may be the most perfect. It may be the sweetest. But as soon as you put the sand in the whole thing, you just chuck it away and you don't want to even look at it. If you put salt in sweet rice, you can't even feel it. But the taste is so wretched. Just a little bit of salt. Or a little bit of cyanide. So, the purity has to be there. Not mixed. Not changed. Not polluted. Pure. Absolute perfection. Just like Srila Prabhupada was manifesting. This must be manifested. If this is manifested by the devotees of this Krishna consciousness movement, the whole world will fall in line willingly and will be pushing us. Go, 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 go. Now they're saying, stop, stop, stop. What are you doing? But if we manifest the purity of Srila Prabhupada, they'll say, go, go, go. This is what we want. We want to bring everybody together in that great boat of Krishna's mercy and go across the ocean of misery. We want to be one big family in that boat where everybody has a place. Everybody comes together. Everybody joins in the kirtan. Everybody can take nectar from the lotus feet of Krishna together. This movement is the greatest togetherness. Sankirtan means together. Kirtan, this is chanting. Sankirtan means all together. And the Sangha of all devotees, all peoples. And similarly, the social system of the Supreme Lord that Maharaj Prithu was in charge of means everybody. Everyone has a place. Everyone has a service. Everyone can come to perfection. So we want to manifest this position so that all the people of the world can be very, very satisfied. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So what we do is we go in like a needle and come out like a plow. The needle found a hole, it went in. The plow is finding the light, and it's opening the hole big. So, the needles manifest differently in different countries. The needle isn't manifesting in Germany. You can't find the hole. But in America, the hole is big enough to put a pole through it. So we put it in. Prabhupada put it in. And he's making the hole bigger and bigger. And now we not only have the plow, but we have the big caterpillar. You know this thing that pushes the tractor? We got our tractors. And we're pushing right through that hole. So your point is okay. But now's the chance, now let's do it here. America is the most important country of the world. Whatever happens in America happens everywhere. Of course, it happens first in Sweden. No, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean Sweden's important. It's a nothing. Nobody cares about the place. But it happens first there. But in America, it's the most important place. And therefore, America must be saved. If you don't save America, the whole world will fall. And if you save America, the whole world will be saved. Therefore, American preaching is the most important preaching in the world right now. Everywhere but America. Now this must be told to them. They must hear it strongly, intelligently, expertly, and then they will be saved. And if not, look out. No, he's asking first. Very nice question. Wonderfully phrased. You have to congratulate one when he asks a very nice question. That is Shukadev Goswami's example. So, living entity came to this world due to his desire to enjoy and control. This we find explained by Srila Prabhupada throughout all of his purports. Now, this tendency is there because it is there within Krishna, and because Krishna manifests so wonderfully and effortlessly the Ananda Siddhi, the Ananda Shakti, we all had the desire to manifest it as well, to enjoy as Krishna is enjoying. And in order to enjoy, you have to be able to control. Because unless you can control, misery will somehow or another enter. So therefore the living entity has to arrange his situation in such a way that he can control his circumstances so that he can get the maximum enjoyment. Now the initial root cause is this inability to understand, or this desire to enjoy in spite of all ability to understand. Enjoy to whatever, somehow or another, take the position of being able to manipulate something for enjoyment. In the spiritual world, the living entities don't manipulate anything for enjoyment. They take what is already there and they give it to Krishna. For them, the manipulation has no direct connection with their enjoyment. But in the material world, the manipulation is enjoyment, and the fruit of the manipulation is the fruit of that enjoyment. That is the goal. I work, and then I get the money, and then I spend it and get things for me. And I get a house, and I can buy some nice wife, and enjoy like anything. But in the spiritual world, there's no such desire. In the spiritual world, there's no such thought. Everything is there, manifested automatically. I don't have to work. By my desire, it manifests. And I can, not that it is all just magic. For example, if I require some ingredients for cooking for Krishna, then I take these ingredients and I cook for Krishna. Very nicely, as beautifully and And it should be as fragrant, and it should look very nice, and it should be very fragrant, and the most tasty food for Krishna, and I put it on a very nice dish and bring it to Krishna. And never at any point do I think, I'm going to eat this food, or I'm going to enjoy this process. It is simply, let us give it to Krishna, and let Him enjoy. And then when Krishna enjoys, immediately we are all enjoying. Just like producing a book for Prabhupada. We have the ecstasy of being able to produce books for Prabhupada. We produced 9 of them since December. Very big books. So, during the book production, it has its ecstasies, of course. But basically it's a lot of work. And with the machines I got and all the lousy programs and the rascals in New Hampshire, I have to bash my head against the wall day and night. So, but everything is perfectly understood when you place those books on Prabhupada's Vyasasana. And Prabhupada's enjoying those books. Then you know what it means to enjoy. Whereas before you don't enjoy. And you don't think this is enjoyment. You're thinking, Prabhupada is happy. Prabhupada is pleased. Thank you, Prabhupada, that you're pleased. Now, I don't want to call that enjoyment. It's not enjoyment. I don't even want to think of it as bliss. I want to think of it as my service to Srila Prabhupada. My life. And life means soul, and soul means Satchidananda. But it's not the Ananda that we're concerned, it's just a feature. Just like maybe I have a very beautiful hand, but I don't sit around looking at my beautiful hand all day. Say how nice it is. The Ananda is a natural feature of the soul. It is not that which we are paying so much attention to. The example given to Ruka when he was fanning Krishna was feeling so much ecstasy, he almost was to faint. But he repressed it. What is this nonsense? It's like a fever, you know? It is disturbing my service. I want to fan, but it is disturbing the service. It is like a fever, although it's ecstasy. No, it's a fever. It's disturbing my service. I want to fan Krishna. That's my life. That's my life. So, the living entity who is pure has absolutely no tinge of desire for sense gratification. No tinge of it whatsoever. But the living entity who is contaminated, what is the contamination? The desire for sense gratification. That comes on the spiritual platform alone. Initially, all living entities are on the spiritual platform. And because the soul has the independence and the power to manifest its desires in the spiritual world, all desires are immediately manifested. In the spiritual world, it's Chintamani, Kalpavriksha. Desires are manifested immediately. So when the soul has that perverted desire to take that position which is resembling Krishna or imitating Krishna, immediately he is dropping to this place, the only place where he can enjoy in that way, or think he can enjoy in that way. Because he's not the supreme, he's not the controller, but he wants to be the enjoyer. But in the spiritual world, it's all absolute truth. There's no falsehood. So for you to be the enjoyer, this is not truth. Therefore, you have to go somewhere where untruth can exist. And at the same time, illusion can exist, so you can think you're the enjoyer. In this way, your desire is satisfied as much as it can be satisfied. And therefore, we fall to this world, we become covered by illusion, and we begin to think that we are the enjoyers and controllers, and we begin to manipulate the elements, and instead of offering them to Krishna, we offer them to our own material body, which now becomes our most worshipable Lord. And this desire is manifesting everywhere in so many different fields. It is manifesting in the desires of people who are running after sex life, who are running after political office, who are running after big muscles and bodily strength, who are running after looking beautiful, all these opulences of Krishna, everybody's trying to imitate. And if they don't succeed at that, they want moksha, liberation. They're desiring to become God, or to manifest different qualities like that. Or in other ways, there are a million other contaminations in spin-offs from the Vaishnavas. These owls and bowels and Gauranga Nagaris and Sahajiya, all these different castes and classes where they know, well, this imitating the bodily feature, and this is not very useful. And trying to become liberated or merge like mystic yogi, that is not very useful. We know that Radha and Krishna is there, and they're dancing in the rasa dance. So we will become in that position. That's the highest sense gratification. And therefore, men like Dongre Maharaj in Gujarat, they make big Bhagavata Saptaha, 7 days of Bhagavat, but they immediately go to Rasa Leela and speak about Rasa Leela. And they talk about Radha, Krishna, gopis, this, that. And in this way, they're simply talking about sex life. And they get a lot of umbrellas and this and that after they speak. So, again, it is the same thing again, but manifesting in a more cultured way. So this whole world is filled with people who have, people, plants, trees, dogs, cats, who have this contaminated understanding of sense enjoyment, who don't really understand what it means to render service to Krishna. So that is the cause and this is the effect. Okay? Should I quit? Oh, where's my watch?